Listen up. I'm about to share some wisdom that can change your life. But first, understand this. Dealing with narcissists isn't something you learn in a day. It's not a class you take, it's a battle you fight. So take this to heart. Understanding narcissism is the foundation of handling narcissists effectively in your life. It's crucial to recognize the traits of narcissistic behavior, and once you see them, you'll understand how to protect yourself and navigate these interactions with more clarity and less emotional turmoil. Narcissism is often misunderstood, but it's essential to grasp the underlying mechanisms to deal with it effectively. Narcissists are people who have an inflated sense of their own importance. They often feel entitled to special treatment and are highly preoccupied with fantasies of power, success, beauty, or brilliance. In many cases, narcissists need constant admiration and validation from others to maintain their fragile sense of self-worth. This need for attention and validation can lead to toxic behaviors that range from manipulation and emotional exploitation to outright abuse. The first thing to realize is that narcissism is not a simple personality flaw. It's a complex behavioral pattern rooted in deep insecurities. The mask of arrogance or superiority hides a fragile self-esteem, one that is dependent on external praise. These individuals don't just want admiration, they require it to feel validated. If they don't get the constant adulation they believe they deserve, they may lash out, become angry, or retreat into themselves. That's why narcissists can be so emotionally draining to be around. Their need for constant reinforcement can create an exhausting dynamic where they draw you in only to discard or demean you when they feel their needs are no longer being met. It's important to recognize that narcissistic behavior doesn't always look the same. Some narcissists can be overt, openly demanding attention, often seeking the spotlight, while others might be more covert, using passive-aggressive tactics, guilt trips, or even feigned victimhood to get what they want. Their manipulation can be subtle, making it harder to pinpoint their true intentions at first. This is why narcissistic abuse often goes unnoticed until the damage has already been done. When you understand the core traits of narcissism, you start to see the patterns that play out in everyday interactions. Narcissists often have a sense of entitlement, believing that the world revolves around them. This might manifest in a constant need for praise or a tendency to disregard other people's needs or feelings. They may interrupt conversations, take credit for things they didn't do, or belittle others in an effort to feel superior. These behaviors might seem like they're just rude or inconsiderate, but they're part of a larger strategy to reinforce their fragile self-esteem. Another key aspect of narcissistic behavior is their lack of empathy. Narcissists have difficulty understanding or caring about the feelings and experiences of others. This lack of empathy can be devastating in personal and professional relationships. They may use people without regard for how their actions impact others, and they often fail to acknowledge when they've hurt someone. Their inability or unwillingness to put themselves in someone else's shoes leads them to view relationships as transactional. They don't form deep emotional connections. They're after validation, status, and admiration. Understanding these dynamics is crucial because once you know what narcissism looks like, you can recognize it earlier and protect yourself from falling into the narcissist trap. Too often, people don't realize they're dealing with a narcissist until they've already invested a lot of time or energy into the relationship, whether it's romantic, professional, or familial. By the time they realize the manipulation and self-centeredness of the narcissist, they've already been emotionally drained, made to feel inadequate, or entangled in a toxic cycle of conflict. Recognizing narcissism also allows you to identify the power plays they engage in. Narcissists thrive on control, and they often manipulate people to gain that control. They use tactics such as gaslighting, making you doubt your own reality, to maintain their dominance in the relationship. They may twist the truth, deny past behaviors, or act as if they've done nothing wrong. Understanding this pattern can help you stay grounded and not lose sight of your own sense of self when they begin to distort reality. Once you understand these behaviors, you're in a stronger position to protect yourself. The goal isn't to change the narcissist, because you can't. You can't fix them, no matter how much you try. Narcissists are often resistant to change because their sense of self is fragile and constantly needs validation. Your role isn't to heal or fix them, but to navigate the relationship in a way that protects your emotional health and well-being. This awareness of narcissism also allows you to understand the emotional traps they set. Narcissists often use flattery, charm, or promises of love and admiration to hook you in, only to later manipulate or use you for their own gain. They can be charismatic, but it's important to see beyond the surface charm and recognize the underlying need for validation and control. Once you see through the mask, you can distance yourself emotionally, knowing that the charm is just a tactic to manipulate you. In short, Understanding narcissism is not just about identifying specific behaviors, it's about understanding the emotional dynamics at play. It's about recognizing the underlying insecurity, the need for validation, and the lack of empathy. Once you grasp these concepts, you can approach the relationship or interaction with more clarity and less emotional vulnerability. You'll understand that the narcissist's behavior isn't personal. It's a reflection of their own struggles and insecurities. And with that understanding, you can protect yourself from being caught up in their emotional drama and toxicity. When dealing with a narcissist, it's important to understand why exposing them doesn't work, and in fact can often make things worse. Many people, when confronted with narcissistic behavior, feel an immediate urge to call it out, to set the record straight, or to show others the true nature of the narcissist. It's a natural response, especially when you've been hurt, manipulated, or deceived. But in most cases, exposing a narcissist doesn't lead to the resolution or justice you're hoping for. Instead, it typically leads to more conflict, more emotional distress, and often a deepening of the narcissist's hold over you. Here's why. First, narcissists are experts at deflecting responsibility and turning situations to their advantage. When you try to expose them, they have a nearly automatic reaction of denying, deflecting, and distorting the truth. Narcissists can twist the narrative in such a way that even if you have all the facts on your side, you still end up looking like the unreasonable one. They might gaslight you by making you second guess your own version of events, or they might outright lie and accuse you of things you didn't do. They're skilled at manipulating perceptions and shifting the blame away from themselves. And once they do that, it can be difficult for others to see the truth. This happens because narcissists are not concerned with what's actually true. They are concerned with maintaining their image and protecting their fragile ego. To them, reality is a malleable thing. What matters most is how the world sees them, and they will do whatever it takes to maintain that image, even if it means lying, manipulating, or turning others against you. So when you expose them or confront them directly, they will rarely admit fault or wrongdoing. Instead, they will either shift the blame onto you or attack you in some way to diminish your credibility. This only reinforces their control over the situation and keeps you trapped in their narrative. Moreover, narcissists thrive on drama and conflict. They enjoy the attention, whether positive or negative, because it feeds their sense of importance. When you try to expose them, they get the attention they crave, and they can twist the situation to make themselves appear like the victim, painting you as the aggressor. They are masters of manipulation, and the more you try to expose them, the more they can use your efforts to fuel their own narrative. The result is that you end up giving them what they want: attention, validation, and the chance to continue their manipulative behavior under the guise of innocence. Furthermore, narcissists are skilled at isolating you. They know how to turn people against you by spreading lies, exaggerating the situation, or portraying themselves as misunderstood. If you're in a social or professional setting, a narcissist can easily create divisions, making others doubt your perspective and align with theirs. When you expose them, you may unintentionally create an environment where others are influenced by their charm or manipulation. In the end, the narcissist remains in control of the narrative, and you are left isolated or discredited. Exposing a narcissist can also have a very personal cost. The emotional toll of engaging in these kinds of confrontations can be devastating. Narcissists excel at wearing you down over time, and each attempt to expose them or call them out only deepens your involvement in their toxic world. The back and forth of accusations, deflections, and emotional manipulation takes a toll on your mental and emotional well-being. It drains your energy and exhausts your spirit. The narcissist, on the other hand, is likely to emerge unscathed, continuing their behavior with little consequence. Another reason exposing a narcissist doesn't work is that most narcissists have no genuine desire to change. Their behavior is rooted in their deeply ingrained need for validation, power, and control. When you expose them, you're hoping for some sort of awakening or realization on their part, that they will see their flaws and change their ways. But the truth is that narcissists rarely recognize their behavior as a problem. They don't view themselves as the issue. They view the world as the problem. If anything, exposing them might make them even more entrenched in their patterns, leading them to lash out even more aggressively in retaliation. They are driven by a need to protect their fragile self-image at all costs, and no amount of exposure or confrontation is likely to change that. Furthermore, when you expose a narcissist, you risk inviting even more emotional abuse into your life. Narcissists are relentless when they feel slighted or cornered. They will go to great lengths to protect their ego and get revenge. This can take many many forms. They may escalate their manipulation, spread rumors, engage in smear campaigns, or even attempt to destroy your reputation. The consequences of confronting a narcissist can far outweigh the initial desire to call them out. Instead of exposing them, what you need to do is focus on preserving your own well-being and protecting yourself from further harm. Narcissists are often skilled at pulling people into their drama, but you don't have to play along. The more you try to confront them, the more you give them the power to drag you into their world. The key is not to give them the satisfaction of your emotional reaction or your involvement in their narrative. Rather than exposing them, take a step back, maintain your boundaries, protect your emotional energy, and detach from the drama they try to create. In doing so, you not only protect yourself, but also avoid feeding into their toxic cycle. To truly free yourself from the influence of a narcissist, you need to stop engaging with their need for validation. Exposing them feeds their ego and perpetuates the toxic dance. What you need instead is to focus on your own peace, your own boundaries, and your own emotional resilience. The best way to deal with a narcissist is to disengage and preserve your mental and emotional health. By doing so, you take away their power to manipulate and control you. Exposing them won't bring the resolution or closure you seek. Instead, maintaining your peace and focusing on your own growth will. Emotional control is one of the most powerful tools you can wield when dealing with a narcissist. It's not just about controlling your reactions, it's about understanding the way narcissists attempt to provoke emotional responses and learning how to protect yourself from being swept up in their manipulative tactics. Narcissists are emotional manipulators, and they thrive when they can get a reaction out of you. They may push your buttons, try to guilt trip you, or make you feel small in order to feed their own ego. They want you to react emotionally because in doing so, they gain control over you. They win by making you lose your composure. When you understand the importance of emotional control, you start to see how much of your own power is tied to your reactions. Often, people feel that they must defend themselves, confront the narcissist, or expose their behavior to others. But the truth is, the more you engage emotionally, the more you give them control over you. A narcissist's primary goal is not necessarily to resolve issues or seek truth, but to maintain control, manipulate perceptions, and gain validation. When you react emotionally, whether it's through anger, frustration, or tears, you're feeding into their agenda, validating their need for attention and reinforcing their behavior. The first step toward emotional control is recognizing the patterns that narcissists use to provoke reactions. They are experts at pushing your buttons, often using tactics like guilt tripping, belittling, or playing the victim. They might make you feel like you're the one at fault, even when they are the ones who have crossed a boundary or hurt you. They might accuse you of things you didn't do or twist the truth to make themselves look like the innocent party. Recognizing these manipulative patterns can help you detach emotionally. When you understand that the narcissist's words and actions are designed to provoke you, you gain more control over how you respond. Next, it's important to remember that narcissists often rely on emotional reactions to justify their behavior. They might try to escalate a situation by getting you upset, which allows them to control the narrative. They can use your emotional state against you, making you seem irrational or overly sensitive. This is where emotional control becomes a key defense. When you don't react to their provocations, you rob them of the emotional fuel they need to continue their manipulation. The less you engage emotionally, the less power they have over you. It's essential to practice emotional detachment in these situations. Detaching doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or suppressing them. It means not allowing the narcissist's actions to control your emotions or dictate how you respond. This detachment is about keeping a calm, steady mindset even when the narcissist is pushing your buttons. It means recognizing that their words and actions are about them, not about you. Their behavior reflects their own insecurities, manipulations, and need for validation, not any truth about who you are or your worth. When you can emotionally detach, you protect your peace and gain control over the situation. Instead of feeling emotionally drained or frustrated by their antics, you create emotional boundaries that keep their negativity from penetrating your state of mind. This doesn't mean avoiding confrontation when necessary or ignoring problems. It means responding from a place of emotional strength, where your peace and emotional well-being are prioritized above the narcissist's attempts to provoke you. A powerful technique for maintaining emotional control is to reframe the situation in your mind. Rather than seeing the narcissist's actions as a personal attack, try to view them as a reflection of their own issues. This shift in perspective allows you to remove the emotional charge from the situation. Instead of getting angry, hurt, or frustrated, you can respond with understanding and empathy, not for the narcissist, but for yourself, knowing that you are in control of your emotions. By reframing the situation, you stop seeing yourself as the target of their behavior and instead view their actions as a reflection of their own inability to deal with their emotions or insecurities. Another helpful strategy for emotional control is mindfulness. By practicing mindfulness techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, or even simple grounding exercises, you can keep your emotions in check during confrontational situations. Mindfulness helps you stay present in the moment, preventing you from being swept away by the narcissist's emotional manipulation. It teaches you to recognize when your emotions are being triggered and to regain composure before reacting. This can be especially useful when a narcissist is trying to escalate a situation or provoke a reaction from you. Mindfulness allows you to respond with clarity rather than with impulsive emotion. It's also important to remember that emotional control doesn't mean suppressing your emotions entirely. You are entitled to your feelings, and it's healthy to process them in appropriate ways. However, emotional control means not allowing the narcissist to dictate when, where, and how those emotions are expressed. You can acknowledge your feelings, but you don't have to react in the way they want you to. This is an empowering way to take back your control without allowing the narcissist's behavior to trigger your emotions in unhealthy ways. In practice, emotional control often means setting boundaries. A narcissist will attempt to cross your boundaries, manipulate you emotionally, and provoke reactions. But by setting firm emotional boundaries, you protect yourself. Boundaries allow you to say, I will not engage in this emotional manipulation, or I will not allow you to push me into an emotional state. When you maintain these boundaries, you assert control over how you respond, rather than letting the narcissist dictate your emotional experience. Ultimately, emotional control is about taking ownership of your emotional responses. When you stop letting the narcissist's behavior control your feelings, you reclaim your power. You stop feeding into their manipulative tactics, and you prevent them from getting the satisfaction of watching you unravel emotionally. The more you practice emotional control, the more you'll realize that you are in charge of your own emotional well-being, and the narcissist's ability to provoke you weakens. It's a powerful shift from reacting out of vulnerability to responding with strength, and this emotional control is one of the most effective ways to disarm a narcissist and protect yourself from their toxic behavior. Strategic detachment is a powerful tool when dealing with narcissists because it allows you to distance yourself emotionally and mentally from their toxic influence without engaging in direct conflict. Narcissists thrive on emotional reactions and attention, and they manipulate situations to draw you in, often creating chaos and drama that keeps you trapped in their world. But when you practice strategic detachment, you stop participating in that game. You take a step back, gain perspective, and protect your emotional well-being. Detachment doesn't mean disengaging completely or shutting people out. Rather, it means creating an emotional and mental boundary that allows you to navigate interactions with a narcissist without getting caught up in their manipulations. It's about recognizing that their behavior is about them, not you, and choosing not to internalize their actions. Narcissists will try to provoke a reaction, to get under your skin, or to make you feel responsible for their issues. However, when you detach, you take away the power they have over you. You stop letting their actions dictate your emotional state. The first step in strategic detachment is recognizing that the narcissist's behavior isn't personal. Their manipulations, insults, and tactics are not a reflection of who you are or your worth. They are a reflection of their own insecurities, need for control, and lack of empathy. Once you internalize this understanding, you can begin to see their actions for what they are, a desperate attempt to maintain their fragile sense of self-esteem. Narcissists have little understanding of how their actions affect others, and their behavior stems from a deep, unaddressed emotional need. Their insults, belittling remarks, or attempts to diminish you are simply a projection of their own insecurities and need for validation. Recognizing that their actions are more about them than about you allows you to detach emotionally and refuse to internalize their negativity. One of the core elements of detachment is emotional distance. Narcissists will try to pull you into their emotional roller coaster by provoking anger, guilt, or sadness. They want to see you react, to be emotionally invested in their drama. But when you you practice detachment, you take a step back and create a space between yourself and their emotional chaos. You no longer give in to the urge to react, whether through anger, frustration, or defensiveness. Instead, you observe their behavior from a more neutral standpoint. When you're emotionally detached, their actions don't affect you in the same way. You stop taking their insults personally, and you stop feeling the need to defend yourself or explain your actions to them. Strategic detachment also means not engaging in their manipulations or games. Narcissists thrive on attention, whether it's positive or negative. They will often use tactics like guilt tripping, blame shifting, or gaslighting to get you to react emotionally. When you engage in these interactions, you are simply feeding their ego and allowing them to maintain control over the situation. By detaching, you avoid falling into these traps. You recognize that the narcissist behavior is not something that requires a response, and you choose not to engage in their attempts to manipulate you. For instance, when they try to turn the situation around and make you feel guilty for something that isn't your fault, you don't bite. Instead, you acknowledge their behavior, but remain emotionally neutral, refusing to let them manipulate your feelings. Mentally detaching is just as important as emotional detachment. Mentally detaching means recognizing that you don't have to engage with the narcissist's distorted version of reality. Narcissists often lie, twist the truth, or rewrite history in a way that serves their own interests. They may try to gaslight you or make you feel like you're losing your mind, but when you mentally detach, you stop accepting their narrative as your own. You can step back and acknowledge that their perspective is unreliable, and based on their need to maintain control, you can trust your own version of events and avoid getting caught up in the narcissist's false reality. This mental detachment allows you to protect your sense of self and make decisions based on your own judgment, not the narcissist's manipulation. Another aspect of strategic detachment is recognizing the limits of the relationship. Narcissists often try to push boundaries, and if you're not careful, you can end up sacrificing your own needs and values to meet their demands. Strategic detachment helps you maintain healthy boundaries, allowing you to prioritize your well-being and protect yourself from further manipulation. This might mean setting clear limits on how much time you spend with the narcissist, what topics you're willing to discuss, or how much emotional energy you're willing to invest. Detachment empowers you to say no when necessary and to stop tolerating behaviors that don't serve your best interests. Setting boundaries and sticking to them is one of the most effective ways to maintain your emotional distance from a narcissist while still preserving your integrity and well-being. Strategic detachment also requires you to let go of the need to change the narcissist. One of the biggest traps people fall into when dealing with a narcissist is the desire to change them, to get them to see the error of their ways. You may hope that by confronting them or exposing their behavior, they will have an epiphany and change, but the truth is, narcissists rarely change because they don't see their behavior as problematic. They are deeply invested in their self-permude and are unlikely to admit their flaws or take responsibility for their actions. When you practice detachment, you release the need to change them. You accept them for who they are, and more importantly, you focus on protecting yourself from their negative influence. Finally, strategic detachment can lead to greater emotional freedom. Narcissists may try to control your emotions, your actions, and even your thoughts. But when you detach, you take back control. You stop allowing their behavior to dictate how you feel, and you reclaim your emotional power. This allows you to live your life without constantly being dragged into their drama or emotional turmoil. Detachment is not about indifference or disengagement. It's about choosing how much energy you're willing to invest in a relationship that doesn't serve your well-being. When you detach, you make space for healthier, more positive interactions in your life. Strategic detachment is one of the most effective ways to protect yourself from the emotional and psychological damage that narcissists can cause. It allows you to stop being reactive and to start living life on your own terms. It gives you the clarity to see the narcissist's behavior for what it truly is: manipulative, self-serving, and ultimately not about you. By detaching emotionally and mentally, setting boundaries, and letting go of the desire to change the narcissist, you empower yourself to move forward with strength, confidence, and peace. When dealing with a narcissist, one of the most crucial steps in protecting yourself and maintaining your own well-being is focusing on self-care. Narcissists can drain you emotionally, mentally, and even physically as they demand constant attention, validation, and energy. Their manipulative tactics and need for control can lead to feelings of exhaustion, anxiety, and self-doubt. That's why it's so important to prioritize your own self-care, because when you take care of yourself, you build the emotional resilience and strength necessary to deal with their toxic behavior without losing yourself in the process. Self-care starts with understanding that your needs, your emotions, and your mental health matter. Narcissists often make others feel like they are not worthy of attention or care unless they are serving the narcissist's needs. They will demand all of your time, energy, and attention, often leaving you with little to no space for yourself. But by committing to self-care, you're establishing the boundaries necessary to protect yourself from their emotional drain. This means recognizing when the narcissist is overstepping, demanding too much, or engaging in manipulative behavior that takes away from your peace of mind. First and foremost, self-care involves setting boundaries. Narcissists will constantly test your limits and push you to the edge to see how much they can get away with. If you don't establish clear boundaries, you risk being pulled into their drama, manipulated by their guilt trips, or even exploited for their own benefit. Setting boundaries is not about being cruel or rigid. It's about respecting yourself and ensuring that your needs are met without sacrificing your mental and emotional well-being for the sake of the narcissist's comfort. You can set emotional boundaries by recognizing when you feel overwhelmed or drained by their behavior and taking steps to protect yourself. This might mean limiting your exposure to them, not engaging in their emotional games, or simply saying no when they ask for too much. Setting boundaries also means not allowing the narcissist to control your emotional state, to make you feel guilty for your needs, or to pull you into their toxic patterns. Self-care also involves recognizing and nurturing your own emotions. Narcissists often make others feel like their emotions are invalid or unimportant, particularly when those emotions don't serve the narcissist's agenda. However, you must recognize that your feelings are valid, and it's okay to prioritize your own emotional needs. When you focus on your own well-being, you give yourself permission to feel what you feel without guilt or shame. You don't have to apologize for feeling hurt, upset, or frustrated by the narcissist's behavior. Recognizing your emotions and giving yourself space to process them allows you to maintain your emotional health. For instance, if you're feeling drained after an interaction with a narcissist, it's important to acknowledge that feeling and give yourself time to recover. Self-care means not dismissing your own emotions to cater to their needs or demands. Taking care of your physical health is another essential aspect of self-care, especially when you're dealing with a narcissist. Narcissists can cause a lot of stress, and chronic stress takes a significant toll on your body. It's easy to get caught up in the drama and turmoil that they create, but when you neglect your physical health, you make yourself more vulnerable to the negative effects of that stress. Taking time to exercise, eat healthy, and rest is crucial to maintaining the energy you need to cope with their behavior. Physical well-being and emotional well-being are deeply connected. And taking care of your body allows you to strengthen your resilience to emotional manipulation. In addition to physical health, mental health is another vital component of self-care. Narcissists can manipulate your thoughts, making you second-guess yourself, questioning your reality, or doubting your worth. This is known as gaslighting, and it can have a lasting impact on your mental state if you allow it to continue unchecked. Therefore, it's important to focus on your mental health by surrounding yourself with positivity, engaging in activities that promote your well-being, and seeking support when needed. Regularly practicing mindfulness, meditation, or other forms of relaxation can help you maintain clarity and stay grounded, especially when the narcissist's behavior becomes overwhelming. It also means recognizing when you need professional help to deal with the emotional toll they may be causing. Seeking therapy or counseling can help you work through the trauma of dealing with a narcissist and help you build stronger coping mechanisms. Another critical aspect of self-care is building and maintaining a support system. Narcissists often try to isolate you from others, either by spreading lies or creating division between you and your loved ones. They want to have control over you without anyone else interfering. But by building and nurturing relationships with people who care about you, you create a network of support that can provide perspective, encouragement, and emotional balance. Having trusted friends or family who understand your situation can be an invaluable resource for reminding you of your worth and helping you stay grounded in reality when the narcissist tries to distort it. This support system can also serve as a safe space where you can share your thoughts and emotions without judgment, giving you the emotional release you need to recover from the narcissist's manipulation. Self-care also involves taking time for yourself. In a relationship with a narcissist, it's easy to lose track of who you are as an individual because because you're so focused on meeting their needs and keeping the peace. However, it's essential to carve out time to reconnect with yourself, to remember your passions, hobbies, and interests, whether it's through reading, engaging in creative pursuits, spending time in nature, or pursuing activities that bring you joy. Self-care means giving yourself permission to prioritize what makes you happy and fulfilled outside of the narcissist's influence. These moments of self-reconnection help you maintain your sense of identity, ensuring that you don't lose sight of your own needs in the process of dealing with the narcissist's demands. Ultimately, self-care is about recognizing your own worth and taking active steps to protect and nurture yourself. Narcissists often make others feel small, unimportant, or invisible, but when you commit to self-care, you affirm your value and remind yourself that you deserve respect, love, and care. By focusing on your own well-being, emotionally, mentally, physically, and socially, you not only protect yourself from the narcissist's toxicity, but you also build the inner strength needed to set boundaries, detach from their drama, and move forward with confidence and resilience. When you take care of yourself, you can stop being a pawn in the narcissist game and start reclaiming control over your own life. Self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity, especially when dealing with toxic narcissistic behavior. It's a critical part of protecting your emotional health and living a life that aligns with your true values and needs. In conclusion, dealing with a narcissist requires more than just understanding their tactics. It requires a shift in your mindset, emotional resilience, and a commitment to protecting your own well-being. Exposing a narcissist or engaging in their games only feeds into their need for attention and control. Instead, you must focus on emotional control, strategic detachment, and most importantly, self-care. These strategies empower you to take back control of your life and your peace of mind. By emotionally detaching from their manipulations, setting firm boundaries, and refusing to engage in their toxic patterns, you protect yourself from their destructive behavior. Self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. When you prioritize your emotional, mental, and physical well-being, you are building the strength and resilience needed to stay grounded, regardless of the chaos a narcissist tries to create around you. Remember, you can't change the narcissist, but you can change how you respond to them. You can't control their actions, but you can control your own. When you stop giving them the emotional fuel they crave, you take away their power. And by focusing on your own growth and self-care, you create space for healthier relationships and a more fulfilling life. Stay true to yourself, protect your peace, and never forget that your worth is not determined by their need to tear you down. Keep moving forward with strength, clarity, and unwavering confidence.